and no intention to impose our form of government on anyone else.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the show. We are broadcasting live on the United Public Radio Network, UFO Paranormal Radio Network, 105.3 FM on the Gulf Coast and 107.7 FM in New Orleans. We are also broadcasting live on social media. The show is brought to you by the Experiencers Support Association, and I am your host, Ryan Stacey. I'm a licensed private investigator, and as the Director of Investigations for the Experiencers Support Association, I use my investigative skills to dive headfirst into the hidden mysteries of UFOs, paranormal activity, and consciousness phenomena. Thank you for tuning in. I just want to say hello to everybody in the chat. Nobody commenting today, so hello when I see you. All right, so let's get into for those of you turning in for the first time, you'll want to check the other videos for replay. All right, so last week we talked about cases. Today we're going to talk about cases, but first I got to talk about Tessa News.
Tessa News and updates.
All right, so there's pretty much the same as last week, except Kindle and Amazon have finally published the rebrand book. So I guess I can see if I can send you this right now, show you this. Can give you PMs? No, I can't do that right now. But the book has officially been rebranded to Encounters of the North. So it's previously, for those of you who don't know what books I'm talking about, if you go to the investigations, you go to annual data sets. And I want to just take it here. You'll see these Canadian current event surveys. That was the original branding. It's now called Encounters of the North. And the reason why I've done that is so it'll be easier for people to find. It's Canadian current event survey. Since then, or I didn't see it in my market research in the past, but there was a lot of misinformation or confusing information there. So we have the new book cover called Encounters from the North. Right here, Kindle edition, and they've made the changes, of course, for the paperback. The Kindle, I'm still working on to make that change. Oh, it is there. Perfect. Follow that link. All right, so that is officially the new name of my series, Encounters from the North, Canada's Declassified UFO Report 2021. So I'm working on 2022 and 2023. I actually just got a 350-page declassified document from the Canadian government today. Have not been through it. I imagine Otis probably has it as well, so he might be writing an article about it before I get to it. Doesn't matter who gets to it first, as long as it gets out there. All right, but I am going to be going through that relatively soon because now I have to finish my 2022 and my 2023 reports to be current. All right, so if you guys are interested in that, it is in a series, which is called Encounters from the North. I'm going to share this link in here. Okay, this is good research material, investigation stuff and stuff like that. I show my work, how I come to these conclusions and whatnot. If you're better than me, which most of you probably are, please let me know how I can work smarter and not harder, and maybe join my team. All right, there's a lot of work that I'm doing by myself, but I would appreciate to have some aces in places. All right, Lisa, hello everybody on Facebook today. Good to see you. Thanks for tuning in, Lisa. How are you doing? All right, so other than that, as far as Tessa News goes, Experiencers Anonymous has been, date has been set. Let me see if I can get anything from the Facebook on this. Let's see here. Without signing in, can I do that? Oh, I am signed in here. Inception, seeing myself live. So what do we got here? Yeah, so Experiencers Anonymous, shared experiencers. So this is the event posting for it. If you guys are interested, It is on Eventbrite, so Experiencers Anonymous. We were talking about that for the last few weeks. I'll put that in the comments as well if you guys are interested here on Facebook. But to get the ticket, it's free. It's on Eventbrite, so you would click that link. And then you would want to, there's only a few tickets left for August 28th. So it's a little early at the end of the month for it to book out, but I hope everybody that has signed up so far will still hold their spot so others can get in. But this is a good go. I don't know how many tickets are left, but it says few tickets are left. That's good. The agenda: welcome, introduction, participants introduction, group discussion, experts presentation when applicable, support session, and closing remarks. So there's your agenda there. There's some information here about what the program is, who it's for, and there's some frequently asked questions, and of course there's some tags. So that's doing good. We're bringing that back. I'll put this comment in there. Oh, Lisa says she's got her ticket. I appreciate your integrity there, Lisa. But remember, it's supposed to be anonymous. But thank you for being brave enough to not have to be able to come forward, and that's something that needs to be recognized. All right. So even though we want it to be anonymous, if you don't want it to be anonymous, that's fine. But let's try to respect the anonymity of the program as well as the other people. And I'm glad to hear you got your ticket, Lisa. That's awesome. So put that in your calendar, okay, for those that are interested. Another thing on the Tessa side, I do believe, no. This is more of an esoteric thing. So let me just segue into this for a second here. We haven't talked about this, psychogenics and esoteric.
Psychogenics and esotericism.
Excuse me. All right. I took a drink of my water there. Okay, so we don't talk about the esotericism enough or the psychogenics enough because I haven't gotten to these cases yet. But outside of the UFO realm, which is what I'm known for, my interest and my cream of the crop or claim to fame, I guess, or what I really like to do is really dive into the philosophy and the esotericism, especially in Freemasonry and things like that. So I'm at a position in my Masonic career where, spoiler alert, if you didn't know I was a Mason, the Rosicrucians, so let me see if I can find something to demonstrate what that is. SRIA, I guess. Yeah, it's the UK one, but we can use this as an overall. So this is one of the appendant bodies that I'm part of in Freemasonry, Rosicrucian Society. It's Christian-based, of course, but you receive grades instead of degrees. We always focus on the Hermeticism, esotericism, Freemasonry. There's a whole bunch of things, the Kabbalah, whole bunch of things. We get into the hidden mysteries of nature and science. So I'm due for my 4th grade. If those who are in the Rosicrucian art, they will understand what that means. And in order to qualify for that, I have to write a paper. So I've written a paper about my ultraspectrum classification system, right? So it's called, as I said, a new paradigm of classifying UFO and paranormal phenomena. So I go through and I explain it. There's an introduction about why, literature review. So I do review a few of the most important things. And here I am trying to explain to a Masonic body how the Hynek classification system, Hynek Vallée classification system needs to be upgraded and explained. And all this paper is basically explaining all of that, the methodology, case studies, and applications and how it works. And so I've done that in secret, in a sense, because it's done in within the walls of Masonry. But I'm hoping to make a public article about this soon. Right now, it's in peer review right now by the college. And as long as it meets the criteria to be submitted, then I'm going to be able to share this with you guys in a public way. But I compare the system to how it works for the Hermetic science, Kabbalah, nature, esoteric traditions, philosophical and religion implications, nature's secret and ancient wisdom. So it's not just UFOs and nuts and bolts. I really get into it. And of course, I've sourced places like, J. Allen Hynek's work, Jacques Vallée's work, a few other people, Antoine Fabre. I can't say that name. But anyway, so, all the stuff is there. So that is something that's new that I've worked on. I just kind of wanted to talk about while I'm here. And as soon as I can make that public, I will. All right, so it's 5:14. Let's get into our event for today. And I believe it's aerial activity, so we're going to start there.
Aerial activity, sensory display.
Okay, so if you go to investigations, go down the visual evidence database. That's how you get to this window here, okay, on the website, which is in the banner below. All right, I'm going to zoom in to Southern Ontario, which is where we currently are. And today, our topic, I guess the theme of the show today is a diamond-shaped craft and more. So let me just try and find that for us all here, somewhere down here. There's my diamond-shaped craft. So we're going to talk about this guy right here, and then whatever else we can. All right. So those of you new to the channel, just sit back and relax, enjoy, ask your comments if you have any, like, subscribe, all those fun things, and we'll go from here. So let me zoom in here. Oh, zooming in on the wrong screen. Pardon me. All right, so this is a diamond-shaped craft. This one was pretty cool to draw, and it was also beneficial that the witness was able to draw something significant for me to actually trace, essentially. So I'm just gonna zoom out here so I can narrate this video that's playing for you guys on radio. Trees in the background, a road on the side, and then this triangle craft. On October 22nd, 2011, between Lindsay and Manila, Ontario, Canada, an experiencer witnessed a diamond-shaped aircraft descend over top of his vehicle. All right, so just have a look at that for a second here. And if you've seen this before, I want to know. All right, here's the original drawings provided by the witness. The experiencer saw very specific details as the craft disappeared in the distance. Okay, and now we're just showing all these different, so this experiencer was able to see it from different angles. Okay, these witness drawings that we're showing here. Let me go here. Yeah, so there's a few colored photos of it. It's like, it moved slow and quiet. And have you seen anything like that? All right, that's what we're looking into today. So the witness statement, as of March 24, 2019, is driving my delivery truck to Lindsay on Trans-Canada Highway 7 between Manila and Lindsay. Aircraft is descending in my direction. I pulled over onto the soft shoulder to observe the aircraft, believing it to be 747 freighter plane. I sometimes observed an aircraft during my deliveries and watched them. This was a clear moonlight night with very few clouds. I was intrigued by the descending aircraft so far away from Pearson International Airport. The aircraft was showing no marker, flashing strobes on wings. As the aircraft became more visible, I began to notice its outline. It was still descending slowly at a shallow angle. The wingspan was wide with a slightly pronounced middle bump, which I assumed to be the cockpit area. At approximately 1,000 feet, the aircraft began to level out and changed its direction slightly. The landing lights dimmed at approximately 12 miles per hour. The aircraft flew past me. To the left of the truck at approximately 500 feet. The aircraft was a perfect diamond shape, black with a dull white light in each corner of the diamond along the center line, but just behind the middle of the aircraft, a red revolving light turned slowly. It reminded me of an old police car revolving around red lights. No engine noise was heard or observed. The aircraft began to change direction, slightly moving west or northwest and slightly increased speed, and began to climb higher and higher. A long, thin cloud was behind me, and the aircraft flew into it. The cloud glowed white as the aircraft entered it and dimmed as it passed through it. I watched the aircraft pass into the distance until it disappeared into the black night sky. All right. See a like over here. Who liked me? Who liked it? Who liked it? Sahara Bad Max. Thank you. Sarah Bad Max. Thank you for the like. So let's look at these images. For you on radio, unfortunately, you were missing out here, but we're looking at what appears to be a front or back view of this craft. Written on it is some text here: Highway 7 Manila to Lindsay, Ontario. This HSPD 2019, that used to be the old branding of the reporting system, which was I forget what it was called. But anyways, moonlight sky, clear sky, 0.28, 2 o'clock in the morning, light white. So you can see these lights here, right? Setting towards my location. Then as it goes over top of this individual, this is what they see heading to the west. And that's very, very interesting. Oh, I got some more love over here. What's going on? Dana Kabatoff, thank you for the like. Lisa Savoy, thank you for the love. All right, let's keep going. So dull white light on each corner, 800 to 1,000 feet, 500 miles per hour. How they come to that, that's also a guesstimation, but this is that revolving light that it referred to. And this is over top. So again, coming at them or going away from them. I'm assuming coming towards them based on the description there, and then over top, and then on its way over him. And here's his truck here down here. Okay, revolving red light, 2,000 to 800 feet, so it's on its way down. Each corner of a diamond, blah, blah, blah. Trees, east-west Manila. And then this is it going away. So this person with these drawings, assuming credible, got a really detailed look of this machine. Now, I do recall, I have to look at my notes to be specific, but I do recall a similarity with the diamond-shaped craft. What was that called? Aircraft. Let's be specific here. There's one that's actually shaped like a diamond, and we did try to match it to that, and I can't remember. Yeah, the stealth fighter here, the Lockheed Hopeless Diamond. That's it. The Lockheed Hopeless Diamond. Okay, so we're going to open this up here. I think that's what it was. However, it hasn't been confirmed, or something similar to that, because the technology is very similar in the sense of the shape. Now, that's more of a, tapered end than anything. But I mean, of course, we don't know what the witness had, what he remembers and things like that too. That's kind of where I was sitting with that. However, I couldn't identify it, so it's still unidentified for all intents and purposes. There also was a military base within the trajectory of this. So there's another coincidence, but doesn't necessarily mean it's true. I haven't been able to confirm that. So the Experiencer Support Association, here's the data for the actual report. Experiencer report, UPR 2019-016. It's a new report. Wanted us to investigate and report. Here's his ID number, 004. So we'll look at that after to see if he's reported anything else. It is a male. Blood type is unknown. Eye color is unknown. 54 years of age at the time of the event. Only one person witnessed it. Felt positive. No injuries. This took place October 22nd, 2011. We got the report about 8 years later. So some time in between. Time of the event was 2:10 a.m. This was in Eastern time zone, and it lasted about a minute. The time of day should say night, actually. I'll fix that. Event type, isolated. Number of objects is 1, and has previously reported no. And the evidence that's provided is demonstrative. The evidence rating is 5. So if we go back to our category, our investigations, and we look at the ultraspectrum classification to see what our evidence rating is. For those of you who've been watching for a while, what is number 5? Do you know? Oh, Lisa says, looks something like an F-17 Nighthawk. That's very specific. Let's look at that. F-17, 117, pardon me, Nighthawk. Let's take a look at that. Yeah. It could be that craft as well. Very well could be. And I think I don't know if the Hopeless Diamond is the same thing. I don't know. Let's check it out. Again, this is back in 2019. I'm not. I don't have my notes in front of me. Yeah, it's the same thing, Lisa. We're talking about the exact same craft. I should have known that, by the way. But I'm not a pilot, FYI. Good call for you knowing your aircraft, Lisa. Good job. Okay, so good. That is definitely it, or at least what I think it is. All right, so we're looking at an evidence rating of 5. Yes, evidence rating of 5. So that's down here, and that's better. So original video or original photos with original video. So there is a video that accompanies this. I do not have it online. I do need to put it online. But I'm kind of reserving that for another project as well, film project that we're working on. Okay. So then as we carry on, sensory display activity level 1, which means machine. Archetype is UFO. Unidentified, close experience because it was 500 feet, less than 500 feet, right? Let me see here. So yeah, we're looking at, in between 100 and 500 feet as a close experience. And then uninvited, of course, and evidence is level 2 in terms of this scale here, which is just trace evidence, which we have analogical, which is just a drawing. All right, so that's the way that is. Now, if we look at his ID number, let me see if he has any other cases. Yes, so I believe we talked about this one on a previous episode. Okay, this is also important to determine the credibility of some experiencers as well, to compare sightings, right? You could also compare the artist's work. This one obviously can draw, right? So that's where we're at with that. Okay. Any questions on that? Let me know. Nothing? All right. Oh, carry on. Let's move on to the next one. So let's go. So we're here. So now I think we covered these ones up here. Yeah, it's a military base. So I just gotta play with the field here to take these off. Government buildings off, base and stations off, observatories off, mines off, schools off. All right, should still be cases. Perfect. So there's our diamond-shaped craft that we talked about as promised. Now let's, I guess, move down here and see what we got. We got another aerial activity and I'm being observed. So let's talk about this guy. All right, so aerial activity. We're still in aerial activity. Let's see what we got here. So this one is in Stockdale, 1972. Ontario, Canada. An experiencer reported seeing these objects outside his home near a wooded area. And, all right. Oh, hello, Jill Leonard. Happy this came up. Well, I'm happy that you commented. I know you're here. Thank you for tuning in. Please like, follow, subscribe, all that stuff so you can catch this every week. I'm here every Monday, 5 p.m. Eastern time. Right. Thank you, Jill, for tuning in. Okay, so around June 20th, 1972, Stockdale. Okay, so let's talk about this case. I'll play the video. And we'll just watch the little doodly, little drawing here. So there's a nice little grass and roads and trees for those on radio. It says around June 20th, 1972, in Stockdale, Ontario, Canada, an experiencer reported seeing these objects outside his home and near a wooded area. All right. Now we're drawing the original drawing here. Sometimes it's hard to see. But these objects move at different speeds and made sharp, usual angled turns before they shot out and disappeared in the south. And then, of course, the general question is have you seen this before? Anything like that? All right, this was a daytime. Oh, yeah, this was a daytime event. That's a significant piece of evidence, too. This was seen in daytime, so we know for sure that it wasn't a craft. Jill Leonard says, will do. I have a CE5 group here in New Brunswick. Interesting, Jill. That's great that you're doing that. CE5 groups are something that I think a lot of people should do. I want to start up a bunch of CE5s as well under the Tesla banner. That is, in case you're interested and you're just getting familiar, if this is your first time seeing me and Tesla and all that other stuff, please check out our website. I'm going to put that in the comments for you here. One of the to-do lists up top of everything else that we're trying to do here in Canada is network and create some chapters in the area. So if you're interested in that at all, please send an email. I'm going to put our email in the comments here as well. Anyone listening who might have a CE5 thing as well. And maybe we can work together to cross-promote it, encourage other people to join, and add our Tesla flair to it. Maybe, get some assistance out there in exchange for getting some reports, especially if you catch something and things like that. So I appreciate you tuning in. I appreciate your effort. Thank you so much for, doing all that stuff. Jill also continues to say, I've been heavily in the contact field for a few years. I will reach out. Perfect. Looking forward to it. We also have a podcast where you could be interviewed. It's called Beyond the Tinfoil Hat. That airs on Tuesday, which is tomorrow night, with comedian magician Danny Whitson and sometimes co-host Chris Green. So we can get you on that as well as an experiencer if you're interested. So please send us an email, and someone will get that started for you. Thank you so much. And this is the nice part about you guys commenting. I need that feedback. If you guys don't talk, I can't talk to you. If you got a thought, you got an idea, if you got a problem, this is the space to do it. Comment. All right. Thanks. Jill says thanks. You're welcome. I'm over reading everything because we have radio and radio can't see these visuals. So, I'm trying to, I really, really do need chatter. So this is good. Thank you so much. Okay. So on the CE5 topic, these are probably majority of what's being seen during a CE5. I've done a CE5. We talk about that after. Let's finish this report, and then I'm going to segue into CE5 here. Okay, so it was an orange, not like the sun on most days. It had a halo effect, like an aura around it. It had a balloon-like controlled movement. It was not normal behavior for an airplane. The object moved in right angles at rapid speeds, but a playful way, meeting up with a second object, of its kind. It resembled a lesser light, playful moving on a wall. The third one appeared out of nowhere, out of the forest area in the front of the two others, and within a blink of an eye, they shot out and disappeared in the south. So here's the original drawing. For that to happen in 1972, we know drones did exist back then. We don't really know what this is, but the fact that it's a daytime sighting, that's got me curious and definitely interested, especially if this third object was witnessed. That's assuming that this is what happened, okay? I have to take the credibility of the experience at face value. Judy Campbell, I see you liked it. Thank you. Thank you for tuning in. And go from there. All right, so this is still under the Ultra Spectrum report, experiencer report. New investigative report. Experiencer's ID is number 9. It's a male, Unknown, brown, 12 years old at the time of the event, witnessed by himself, positive, no injuries, so that's all good. 1972, June 20th, in and around my birthday. June 20th, daytime sighting. Oh, Geminids. Geminids meteor shower date 1972. So you can give me that. Okay, 4 December. Maybe it's another one. Sorry, I'm just thinking of something. All right. So report date 2019. So it's a significant chunk of years later. 10:30 p.m. How can that be 10:30 p.m.? This happened twice. I got to make a note here because in my system, when I enter the data, it does it within a time zone, but the date and time I'm noticing is changing because I'm using a VPN. And my VPN is telling me right now I'm in Buffalo. That's a different time zone. So I think the time zone changes in these. So I need to review this information. But anyways, duration is 120 minutes. Time of day, isolated 3. Previously reported no. Analogical evidence rating is 3. So let's go back to that. So 3 is fair because it's a drawing only. Sensory display aerial activity type 2. So we consider this a UAP because they appear to be lights. Unidentified, close experience, uninvited in level 2 and A. So analogical. That's where we're at on that. And this experience is only reported once. All right. Now, before we move on to how much time we got? The next one, which is a beings observed. Let's talk about CE5 because that's something I haven't done in a while. So CE5, I guess technically that, how would we classify that? Would that be visitation? That's if it was invited and you can confirm that it's extraterrestrial. It's not residual evidence because nothing's left behind, but we're using our mind. So I guess that would be psychogenics and esotericism. All right, that's where we're going.
Psychogenics and esotericism.
Okay, so in the classification system, for those of you who aren't familiar with it, I did take in consideration that CE5 movement, because that, for those of you who don't know what that is essentially is using your mind in a meditative state with meditative sounds and whatnot. If you have it, you can use an app that Stephen Greer has created, but you essentially don't need to do what Stephen Greer has recommended per se, but that's just to give you a general idea of how that works. But essentially, you're using your mind to intentionally invite beings to show themselves. Jill says human-initiated contact. Yes, another word for it would be HIC. What is it called? It used to be free NRC or NCIU or whatever. I can't remember what they're called. With Ray Hernandez, they're using the term HIC, but HIC. Is something that they don't like, but whatever you call it, essentially what it is you are using your mind. So in using that as an example, we would classify that as a close experience within 100 to 500 feet, or it could also be a remote experience, depending on what we know. It also could be a mental experience, depending on perspective, depends on the information we get from the experiencer. Okay, so that's a little tricky, but we'll classify those based on the information that's been provided. Subclass information, so in this particular case, this would be invited. So we are intentionally using our mind to make contact and wanting to get an actual result. So we're using our sight, we're also using our mind. We may also be using our ears to hear it, smell, taste, all the senses work in this thing. Now, if you're doing a CE5, Jill, and you don't have any evidence of this, then to get a level 2 trace evidence, then you need to draw what you saw, or perhaps explain your memory. So a report must be good. If some traumatic event had happened as a result of that, that also becomes trace evidence because that's left behind. Or a physical ability happened to be used or developed in order to do that, and that was documented, then we can classify it that way. To prove the psychic ability would be another report on its own, because then we need to clarify whether or not a psychic ability was actually used in this instance versus a coincidence. So Jill says documenting is key. Exactly. That's what we're trying to do, is get better data here to make better sense of what's going on and remove the fluff here. At the same time, putting everything in the right categories. So level 3 is if you have something to demonstrate. So do you have a picture? Do you have a video? Okay, but you also can draw, because the pictures in the video might not actually show everything. That's how you move up to level 3. Documentary would be maybe a government report on top of that, a government sighting, declassified document, or a physical. The craft happened to land in front of you, left a piece. We can get physical there. We can get forensics, DNA, perhaps, or some biological microorganism of some sort that we can analyze. So that's how you get into a level 3. The easiest, of course, is just taking out your phone and taking a picture or video. And then, of course, with CE5s, those are typically done with 2 to 3, at least more people. So we're getting into a level 4 here for sure if all that stuff is done right. If you do it by yourself, it can still land here in 3, but with 2 to 3 more witnesses, or 4 and more, that makes it more significant, which makes this a level 4B. But with the CE5, that's how we're going to get into the level 5, which is contact. So you have back and forth communication with validation or an immediate reactive response. Now, this is tricky because you're going to need, for your CE5 to do a report, you're going to need to do some drawings, and you're going to need to provide a picture and a video, and you're going to have some witnesses and have them all do the same thing. Then we can analyze everything and try to determine whether or not the object seen is unknown. And if it's unknown, to determine the back and forth communication with validation, we would have to measure the reaction time if the intention was known in the video. So if you can say stuff out loud as well as thinking it, then you can document that. The immediate reactive response would be similar to like, hey, show me something, and then boom, within a second it happens, right? This also can be used for seances, when they're like, show me a sign, blow out this candle, yada, yada, and then all of a sudden this candle goes out. If we can rule out that there wasn't any wind involved or someone didn't blow it out, then that's how we would get a level 5. This is the money category here that we want, because all these things are stacked here. However, it's really hard to get. So I'm just using that as an example to explain, while you're doing your things, do these things, make a report, everybody wins. Jill says, I use Canva and editing to recreate the contact experiences. Awesome. Canva is a great tool. We use it here as well. It is a very, very good tool. Jill, are you part of an organization and you're doing all this stuff? Or are you doing this on your own out of the kindness of your own heart? Because you probably likely are an experiencer yourself trying to search for answers like everybody else who becomes investigators. Something happened to them and they're looking, because your skills and set as well might be something that we can use. Angela, good to see you. Thanks for liking. Why don't you say hello? Kenneth Bird, good to see you. Thanks for liking. Because those little recreation videos that I showed you on the visual evidence is something that I've done, but perhaps it might be something you'd be interested in participating as a volunteer for Tessa, or a professional partner, depending on what you want to do. So if I don't know where you're from, if you're in Ontario, then we can do business. If you're not, then we're going to have to work something out as a contractor. But she also says it created a provincial CE5 group. That is awesome. Are you in charge of that? Are you part of an organization? Because if you're part of an organization, then we need to talk. We want to talk to that organization. If you're on your own, then let's find a way that we can work together and get that provincial CE5 group in front of a lot more people, and hopefully create a opportunity for others to do the same in their province. I'm in Ontario. Yes, I'm in charge, not part of an organization. Perfection. All right, send us an email. Let's talk about that and see what we can do to make it work in a way that you still have control of everything you got going on, but at the same time, maybe we can make an agreement of some sort where we can at least provide some marketing or something. So you're in New Brunswick. Perfect. You're in Canada. Love it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So please send an email. All right, we got you documented here. You said documentation is key. So we have you documented here on this video in front of all the millions of viewers that you're going to send that email. Looking forward to it. Keep your word. All right, or else next week's episode, I'm going to be like, no, I'm just kidding. All right, so 5:45. We still got time. Let's, I guess we can talk about this being observed since we're still in Stockdale or Trenton area. I have family out there too. So if we're getting into beings observed, right? Is that a being? Yeah, beings observed. So be right back here.
Beings observed, intent unknown.
All right. So Jill had said, yes, I am fully into this. We'll reach out by tomorrow evening. Awesome. Let's get you on the podcast too. That'd be great. All right. So, and for those of you guys listening to this on the replay, you understand the benefits of commenting in the live chat. All right. Don't be shy. This is what, this is the only time I got in a week to have these conversations while I'm working on everything else. Seize the day, take the opportunity, tell me what you really feel, and let's go. Okay. So, beings observed, humanoid, Frankfurt. I should go visit my family up there and check these places out. All right, so there's the image there. Those of you on radio, too bad, can't see. But you can always check out the replay on YouTube or Facebook, anywhere you get your videos from. All right, Jill, these little recreation videos are used through Doodly. I don't know if you're familiar with that program, but perhaps that might be something you might be interested in assisting with too when the time comes. I can do it. I'm just, many hands make light work, as they say. All right, so we're looking at this guy here. Lisa, this guy might be familiar to you as well. This is not your case. I know this is not your case. But I'm interested in your comments about the similarities and differences, and we'll eventually get to yours. All right. So around July 4th, 1982, in Frankfurt, Ontario, Canada, an experiencer was startled awake by this being. Okay. So you'll see similarities, I guess, with the cloak and the hand, but the hand's a different color, I believe, from what you've reported so far. Okay. Next drawing. He saw its hand raised as he felt his body push back against the wall. He eventually passed out and woke up the next morning 8 hours later. So there's the original drawing there. Lisa says, yes, it looks very familiar. I assume so. And that's why I have it set up this way, because eventually someone's going to report the same thing and not know not know you. I know this person doesn't know you. I know who the experiences are, and I know that this looks similar to what you've seen. And this is good data because then I can compare these two cases with those beings observed to try and figure out what characteristics, because everybody's going to pay attention to certain features that stand out to them, and they're not going to remember every single detail. The face isn't shown here, maybe because the face, couldn't be seen or wasn't as important as the hand. The hand coming out forward and grabbing or pushing this individual seems to stand out. Whereas your cloaked beings, you were able to remember the facial details of these beings, but you've also seen them multiple times. Whereas this experiencer has only had it once. I guess, again, to that, we're talking about cases from like years ago, like pre-pandemic. So, I haven't done any cases since the apocalypse there, but I'm going to be getting into them again soon. Okay, I opened my eyes and I saw Sonny and Cher on the TV. I opened my eyes wider and I saw a figure standing in front of me alongside my bed looking down on me. I went into cold sweats. I wanted to get out of bed, but I couldn't. I felt held down, though I wasn't touched. I stood up on the bed. The entity put its arm out with its hand open and pushed towards me. Immediately after I was pushed to the corner of the room where I was held, he dragged me across the wall. I was screaming and kicking, my name redacted, or kicking for name redacted, and then laid back on my back. He never touched me during this experience. I was shoved against the headboard and held there. I felt cold pain in the back of my head, into my spine, throughout my body. It pulled its hands back and the pressure and pain went away. The next thing I remember is waking up and going to work feeling refreshed as if I had 8 hours of sleep. I didn't break these down on the other ones, but I think maybe I can do some statement analysis on this. So I turned over, I opened my eyes, and I saw Sonny and Cher on the TV. So why wasn't he watching the TV? Obviously, it was in some sort of sleep state, resting state. Opened my eyes wider, and I saw a figure standing in front of me alongside my bed. So it's possible they were in a dream state. Possible. Probable, likely, depends on where you see, but we don't have enough evidence to assume that. Looking down on me, I went into cold sweats, so there was obviously a reaction. Even if this was a dream, it could be very real, right? Cognitive events still need to be investigated because we don't know what happens in those states. And Lisa, in your events, you weren't really sleeping, I don't think, at least in the ones you've reported. So, that particular, and seeing something that's similar to what you reported is interesting to me. I wanted to get out of bed, but I couldn't. So there's a bit of paralyzation. So is it because he's sleeping, or is some technological event? I don't know. Felt down even though I wasn't touched. Felt held down. I stood up on the bed. The entity put his arm out with its hand open and pushed towards me. So there's obviously some kinetic energy that was used in that instance. If that's in the physical, that is phenomenal and terrifying at the same time. If that's in the dream state, then anything can happen, but it doesn't mean it's not happening. Immediately after, I was pushed to the corner of the room, so that's obviously a frightening experience for this person, right? Headboard held there, felt cold pain, all that stuff was real, but then they woke up as if they were fully rested. So it's likely that it was a dream, or at least in a dream state. But did it actually happen? And that's hard to say no. It's hard to say yes. But imagine it's happening in the ultra spectrum. And taking it, and now this is what they remember. And they pull it out of their dream state, and now we have Lisa over here who's seen something similar. And that becomes a stronger piece of evidence. Julie Evans, thanks for liking. Thanks for tuning in. So let's look at the stats here. We got 7 minutes left. Ultra spectrum experiencer, new, investigate report. ID is 5, sex is male, blood types unknown, eye colors unknown. If you don't know that stuff, it's okay. But I want to get that data because I want to see if there's a correlation between certain blood types and eye color. If you're willing to share that. Age of event 29. Number of witnesses was 1. Feeling was negative. All right. So here's an example where we would immediately refer experiencers anonymous. Okay, that's a marker. It tells us, okay, they need to talk to someone about their experience and get some validation because they can't wait for an investigation. Happened 1982. Time and event was 7 p.m. Eastern Time, 15 minutes at night, isolated. Previously reported, yes. So we'll check to see what else they reported if it's on here. Third party involvement, no. Analogical, so they provided a drawing. Level 3, so it's fair. Beings observed, humanoid. All right, because it appears to be human because there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fingers. We don't see the legs. We see 2 arms, so the assumption is a bipedal something. So humanoid is where we did it, and we did a subtype of 7. That might be transmedium. No, unknown. We don't know what the body type is, and that's likely because of what we see in this image here is I don't see their legs. So we don't know whether or not they have legs, and we can't make assumptions. All right, the archetype for this would be a shadow figure, but it also could be extraterrestrial or some sort, depending on the shape of the fingers, the color of the skin, whatever category you want to put it in, and that can be changed. That's subjective to the person's perspective and belief. Nonetheless, it's still unidentified. It's an extreme close experience, so that's less than 100 feet. Obviously, it was uninvited, but the evidence is weak. It's a level 2. Okay, so we just have a drawing, I believe. Oh, third party or non-original material, right? Okay, so this, so this is classified third party or non-original material because it was the son that made the report for the father. Okay, that's why that's there. If you guys ever have questions. Now, they did say they made a report so if they say they're not the first time reporting and you don't see more reports, that's because the other ones have been either inconclusive or they've been identified. So you're only going to find cases that I haven't solved yet, or at least haven't had enough evidence for it. And if you know what it is, please tell me what it is. We're eventually going to be looking for investigators and researchers too. There's a pilot program coming too. Right now I'm focusing on EA, and possibly a CE5 is what we're going to be working on next. So there's lots of things Tessa wants to do. I just need more people to do it, or to assist and help. Everything that you need to, we have everything that we need to assist everybody in the world. Although I'm focused on Canada. Sorry, 1 second here. We did the diamond shape one, so I think we're going to come down here for next week. Take a screenshot, Chris, for you when you're asking me on Thursday what the next show's about. Right here. I'll figure that out. What do we got? Oh, more aerial activity and more beings observed. So we'll probably check that out next week. Okay, so I'll just close this here. Just a reminder, everybody, if you want to support the disclosure and everything that I'm doing to help keep it free for everybody, I do have a Patreon account that does also help pay for the podcast and the other podcast that's on tomorrow night, as well as the time for Mr. Danny Whitson. All right, everything helps. Okay, this is a private. I do private stuff on here as well, depending on what you need. It's one-on-one. You're working with me directly. You don't have to go through the Tessa wall to get a hold of me. That's my personal support area for those who follow me and what I do in and without Tessa. And of course, what else we got going on here? So who's on the show tomorrow? Tomorrow we have June Edwards, All's Fair in Love and Karma, Paranormal and Psychic Medium. So that's the conversation tomorrow on Beyond the Tinfoil Hat. So wherever you're watching this or listening to this, unless you're on my page, if you're on my Facebook page, you're not going to get this. You got to head over to the Tessa page to do that, find that. Jill, while I have you here, if you're still here, if you were doing a CE5 and it was under Tessa or however we make that work, people would see it here as well. We also have a full event list that we can add things up as well. EA will be here too. We got to add that. We haven't done it yet, but that's on the way. You're going to see that, what's coming up, and all these other things, okay? And if you want to go back, check the calendar, see what you missed, you can play with that, all that stuff there. Newsletter is going to be coming out. Unfortunately, I didn't have any time to write any new articles. Apologize. But I do have that declassified document of 300 and some odd pages I need to look at. So there will be some stuff coming out, but I'm currently focusing on the logistics of Tessa right now. So that way I can get all our aces in places. If you guys are interested in joining, please volunteer if you want. If you're one of those people that think you deserve to be paid, let's have a conversation. Tell me, it's not like paying is taboo, but my criteria for paid work is a lot higher than my criteria for volunteering your time. So, and we're all in this together, and all these other things as well. So the more people we have, the stronger we get. I have everything set up. I just need people to run these departments and collectively help everybody where we can and when we can. All right. And that's 6 o'clock. So I made it. Without getting stressed out, and my mouse didn't screw up. Why? Because I got something to clean it. Couldn't afford to buy a new one because Mac mouses are like $150. So I bought myself a little cleaner that was like $20 and cleaned the damn mouse. And here we are. I'm happy today. All right, kids, I have to leave. So if you have a mysterious encounter with the paranormal, UFOs, extraterrestrials, or any other paracryptid, head over to experiencesupport.org and click that purple button on the top right corner and submit your experience. That the others who have reported, the more reports we get, the more we'll understand this phenomenon, how they affect our people. That the others who have already reported be that example that proves we are making a difference. And if it weren't for these reports, we would not be able to do what we do. And we thank you for that. Thank you for tuning in to this episode of The Skeptical Sleuth, broadcasting live in the United Public Radio Network, the UFO Paranormal Radio Network, 105.3 FM on the Gulf Coast and 107.7 FM in New Orleans. We also broadcasting live on social media, and the show was brought to you by the Experiencers Support Association. Remember, one lie is enough to question all truths. Thank you for watching. Keep your eyes in the sky, and as always, heed the world. Peace.
If you want to really, really find out about Ryan, ask him about all his work and UFOs in Ontario.
Ryan is one of Canada's leading new UFO investigators. He conducts and oversees UFO investigations on a constant basis. He's compiled a tremendous amount of data regarding UFOs in Canada.
I have used his research extensively. He's much more than a one-dimensional character. He's an authority on UFOs and investigating them, Meg.
Wow!
Really goes over how UFO investigations are done and what are some of the mistakes that people make when they submit evidence. For starters, don't edit your videos or photos before you send them.
He would come out with an annual report on not only the number of sightings, but how many were unexplained, unknown, or just, nothing could be said. What caused
it? If you
it?
want to hear more follow-up conversation between Ryan and myself, you can go to richardolanmembers.com, where we have a candid conversation on ufology, the paranormal, and more. And remember, while we learn and grow and search for the truth, let's be good to each other.